Alright, so instead of doing a skit here, I wanted to just do a public service announcement because I know I'm going to have a bunch of people ask this in the comment section below of where I got this guy from. I got mine personally off eBay. The seller that I got mine from doesn't have anymore. Otherwise, I would link that one because this guy, as you can see, came in perfectly fine. But for the most part, when you're ordering like knockoff bootlegs, stuff to this caliber, like this guy's more of a third party than anything. It's going to be hit and miss. Plus, like, people using weird thumbnails, stuff like that. Like, it's kind of hard to distinguish which one you're going to get. So it's kind of a crapshoot. The best thing I can say is if it's about $80, it's probably the one you're looking for. Because the only other links I've seen for people are, I wouldn't consider reputable. And AliExpress seems to be a little bit iffy on that too. So you'll pretty much have to hunt this guy down for yourselves if you guys are looking to get one. I also want to point out that my buddy Sovereign Rez sold his Angus. And everybody should go comment on his channel and ask him, why did he sell this beautiful Revoltech figure? I mean, just look at it. It's gorgeous. It's probably the best Revoltech of them all. Even like, Rodan's okay, but like he can't stand by himself and the wings are kind of weird. Gigan's got some joint, like the joints aren't the cleanest thing. Like this thing's the best. And he sold it. Why? Why? Trying to make why like an Angus roar. Because like, something. Anyways, go give him some loving in his comment sections on his videos. Also, go check out Rainbow Mahoney too. He does our Patreon, same as Super Ghidorah. They also do Patreon. I'll put links in the description. Go bug all of them. But especially Rez, because he sold Angus. Nobody should ever sell Angus. Listen to Bridges over the Geek Just. My name's Steve. My name's
Arnaz.
And today I'll be going over the third-party Showa Ghidorah.
Bootleg.
The SE's MonsterArts third party. We're bootleg. We're not officially certain as of yet because it's either they got a hold of the molds from Tamashi and produced a bootleg, or they made it. Problem is, like, we'll get into this, but the detailing on it makes me kind of skeptical that somebody else sculpted it. Because for the most part, like sculpt-wise, we'll get into it. But anyways, but we're not 100% certain this is like what you consider officially a bootleg or a knockoff figure. There's not another one of these. So I'm more comfortable calling it at least a third-party figure as of right now until we see more stuff. But there is some aspects of it being a bootleg because, as you can see, the flight stand here is from the King Ghidorah special colored version. And outside of that, like, I didn't actually go get the regular one. Oh, that's the video we could do.
What?
Just go get my normal one, even though we already did a Collectible Wars thing, but we can work, like, show it off next to it, see if there's any reused parts. Haha.
Haha.
Anyways, back to this video. But we're just going to pretty much get into it, because without further ado, for its packaging, if you guys didn't see the unboxing video, here's the box it came in. But I know that some people have gotten this guy in the 2019 Ghidorah box. So, pretty much, you're either going to get not receive it in a package, but thankfully, like, these people here that I ordered it from, if I can find them again, I'll put their link in the description. But they actually, like, bubble wrapped it and everything, so it's pretty secure when we got it in. And more or less, pretty impressed for a, like, Chinese knockoff figure. But other than that, I guess we can just get into the figure here. Oh, it's like styrofoam everywhere. So for the Kaiju here, for its accessories, all you get here is the flight stand. Just slowly drag this towards me so we can get the Ghidorah out the top of it.
Wibbles and wobbles.
I don't recommend using this thing for it. I will say that right now. Here, you can play with this for a minute.
I love how people were commenting on a photo I took. Oh my god, he's a lot more gold than I thought it would be.
No, it's not. It just turned out really brightly. But if you guys have the special color version, it's literally the same flight stand. Even has the picture on the bottom here from the Heisei film. Also, Bandai copyrights 2015. So that's pretty cool.
2015.
I think that's when the special. Well, the special color wasn't that old, is it?
I don't know. Let me Google this.
I don't think it's 5 years old. What's kind of nice is you do get the stand here. You do get the flight stand. If you have a standard Ghidorah, this would actually work pretty nicely for that. For our next video, I'll show that all off in that. But for this kaiju in particular, it's not really...
Oh no, man. 2016 on some of these videos. 2015 on this video.
Well, I guess some of the other ones, but Special Color came out like way later.
SH Monster Art King Ghidorah Special Color version. December 2015 release date.
Well, I guess so. All right,
Look at that.
This is...
Yeah, right there. December 2015. Wow, it's been that long?
Yeah, I didn't think the Special Color was that old. God, I'm old. But yeah, just to show you guys a closer shot. But there's not really a way
to make him stay in there.
Yeah, that you're getting this to work. So you can get it to sit, but
his chest isn't big enough.
Essentially, it's just the mold's way different. Then the other issue is this ratchet joint's really loose. So it doesn't take much for this thing to tip forward.
That's even after he tightened it, he said.
Yeah, as I say, I tightened the screw right here. So if you get it level, it'll stay. But any kind of force is just going to knock this thing back and forth. So for the most part, it's neat that it came with this. But I wouldn't use it, personally. Unless you can somehow get this thing to stay fixed in its positioning. It's just too much of a liability, even though this guy's actually fairly inexpensive for the size of a figure he is, because he was $80 after shipping.
Yeah,
plus you get a flight stand.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't bad. You will have to pop this on, which, what you do is you just slide this in, and then this little piece here hooks into there. So when you're sliding it in, you should see it pop through.
Oh, so you figured it out, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't go all the way back, though.
Ah.
On this one. And I think a lot of that has to do with just you kind of see it's not really any spot for it to actually hook onto anything. It just kind of slides in and stays in, essentially with friction. Which, again, not what I consider the safest use. Also, the plastic here is super fudging scuffy. Somebody needs to take some polish to this thing.
Turn it around. Looks like a curved woman's body.
With a giant protrusion. Also, her back, that would hurt. Look at there. She's got a prego belly.
Yeah.
Something. But then her arms are, I don't know. Anyways, getting into the actual kaiju. Because moving on to King Ghidorah, you will have to attach the wings from the packaging. So, these slide on and off.
Did you heat it, Steve? So you
I did heat it. One thing, actually, I'm just going to pull off the wings because I have to bring this up. It's really tight still, but at least you can move it.
It's movable.
But I did have to hair dryer it. But one thing is that this joint is the exact same joint.
What?
Yeah. So, you see how the hinge is?
Yeah.
That goes that way, like it's supposed to. Problem is, this is supposed to go that way too.
Yeah, fudge.
So you have this little rounded bit that gets in the way.
So it's not the heating that it needed, it needs a different...
This one in particular is just the wrong joint. Which is probably fairly common, I'd imagine, on these. Like, I don't think this is a factory error, it's just cost error. But if you do get this, I would probably recommend maybe shaving this down a little bit on the back section here. Because you can already see from me just playing around with it just a little bit, I'm already like rubbing the plastic off of there.
Oh, God.
And what I'm going to do, that or even take like just an X-Acto knife and just shave off just ever so slightly a little bit. So it's got some clearance there. And just do it little by little till I get enough freedom in order to do that. But for the most part, like, I think it holds the wings in pretty decently. It is a little scary because it is essentially the wings are just held in by friction.
I feel like that's going to fall off.
Now, because this is actually a knockoff figure, I'm probably, once I do the painting video, I'm probably just going to super glue them in, call it a day.
Yeah, because you don't need... What are you going to... Like...
Yeah.
Take it apart, put it in a box? What box?
Yeah, what box? Right? And then for me, like, it is considered a knockoff figure, so I'm not really too concerned about the resale value at this point. And even if I did glue in the wings, I don't think it would affected all that much. Because, like, who's gonna, like, man, I want to really take off those wings in order to pose it on my show.
Exactly. Like,
you know, like I said, I'm going to be modified it anyways, so at this point, I don't really care. But for the coloring for the Kaiju, it looks a lot like the 2019 Ghidorah. Because for the most part, it's just a goldish brown color for the entirety of the Kaiju. Same with the wings. You do get a little bit of black wash here for the fingers, if you will. So it is a little bit darker in these sections here. You also get a stripe coming down the back section here. Outside of that, though, there's not really much else. Like a little bit in certain sections of the joints, which again reminds me a lot of how they decided to do the 2019 Ghidorah. Which isn't bad.
Yeah.
Like, on my shelf, I don't, like, it's not too distracting. Problem is, it's not metallic gold.
His eyes are weird, though. Like
his eyes are awesome. Me and Aaron were talking about it.
He's just 3 Kevins.
That's how the original Ghidorah was. It was just 3 Kevins. What do you want? It's literally just like, heads are everywhere.
I love it.
But somehow there's a method to its madness.
I love that you can do that, Steve, and they don't fall off.
That is a positive. But yeah, it's not metallic gold. It's not metallic in the least. Thing is, though, like on the one head here, I get a little bit of hope because it's like, there's a little smudge of metallic paint here. But that's pretty much it. For a closer look at the details, you can notice that the horns aren't really painted very well. Each one has like a little bit of paint. It pretty much like as I come down the heads, you get more and more paint. But for detailing for the head, it's actually pretty nice. Like I kind of wish maybe like the hair on the back here was a little bit more flaring. Like, it kind of hugs the figure a little bit, but it's nothing too crazy. Eyes look kind of googly, but it also looks like he's, like, doped up on something. So he's got, like, this nice, like, terrified look, which I kind of like. I think it actually replicates the suit a little bit. Teeth are actually painted pretty decently. Same with the tongue on the inside. It's all painted. So scope-wise for the head, I think they actually knocked it out of the park pretty well. I noticed like each of the heads, the articulation's not quite there though.
What do you mean? Like,
well, you can see like this jaw opens up pretty wide.
It's different.
This one, like even me working this joint, I can only get it like about that far. So again, it's going to be a lot of like trial and error and just like adjusting and shifting joints in order to get everything to work. But for the most part, it's like I got one head that opens decently wide. The rest are just kind of there. Which is, it's not too bad. Like, again, for essentially a knockoff figure, I'm not too disappointed with what I see here. And this is, I feel like I could adjust stuff a little bit to get it to work, or even maybe just shave off a little bit of the plastic to get the mouth to open a little bit more.
Well, like, this point, it's not really necessary. You don't have a beam effect, so...
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, it didn't come with the beam, so unless you already have a Ghidorah to begin with that came with the beam, or if you got, like, the knockoff special colored version, there's not too much of a point for it. Moving down the rest of the body here, neck looks pretty nice. You do get the like belly, snake belly on the undersection. Only comes down to about the base of the neck, and then you get the more traditional King Ghidorah scalings. I do
Where
look
are his arms?
right here.
Those are not arms.
That they have fingers and everything. They're just webbed.
It's disturbing.
You're disturbing. I do like that it has like these suit folds inside of its pecs, so it kind of helps to replicate the way the the suit looked in the film. But just a lot of diamond patterns. It's got some nice feet. Toes are painted. A little bit of scuffing of the paint a little bit there from outside the package, but again, nothing too crazy. Bottom of the feet, no detailing at all. Tail looks fairly nice. Which, I will say, out of all my King Ghidorahs, this is the only one that the tail stays in nice.
Like I said...
Which is kind of depressing.
Like I said, I really appreciated this figure. You can mess around with it and will not fall apart.
Well, yeah, well, it's just crazy because, like, my standard Ghidorah, tail pops off. 2019, tail pops off. My Mecha King Ghidorah, tail pops off. This thing,
good.
Perfectly fine. Like, as you can see, I'm being a little bit forceful with it. Nothing's popping off. Same with the heads here, staying pretty well. The only issue I've really had with like loose joints is the wings will tend to slide off. if you're not paying too much of attention. So that is something to be concerned about. Tip of the tail. Got a little bit of fluff.
Looks like it's got some damage on one of them.
How so?
Oh, I mean, from like distance, it looks like, you know, somebody clipped it right there.
Oh, I got you. It's not the cleanest edges.
Yeah.
Which is kind of something we saw on the knockoff 2019 Godzilla. Like, the hard edges weren't quite clean, but it's not too bad. There is some mold snips on the wings. I'm trying to find one in particular. Like, there's one right there. So you will have those on the figure, but again, it's not too distracting when looking at it. But for the most part, like, detailing-wise, outside of it just not being metallic gold, I think it's fine. And to be fair, like, outside, like, the only real bad paint is just pretty much the horns and the head are just very lacking.
Yeah. Well, like, the head can be fixed easily.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, when I usually recommend, like, bootlegs to people, you're generally want to be at least slightly confident in customizing, because you're probably going to have to fix something. And for me, it's pretty much just, like, some of the paint here and there needs to be adjusted, but, like, for articulation fixing and whatnot, it's essentially just this one wing joint here. You have to shave a little bit of plastic off just to free up the movement. And maybe if I want to shave a little bit around the mouths to get a little bit more articulation.
Hey, overall, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not super crazy to expect. And for its articulation, head can look... Finally popped it off. But you do get... Each of these are on individual ball joints for each of these sections. So you get a lot of range of motion for each of these heads, which is really nice. And for the most part, unless you're being forceful, they stay on pretty well. Again, jaws are on a hinge so they can open and close. Only issue is, again, some of these jaws are a little bit more hindered than others. One thing I will point out is the tons aren't posable, which makes me sad. So you can't make him look like he's hissing. So that's a little disappointing. For the wings, can go in and out.
Oh, that noise.
Oh, you like that sound?
Sounds
Can
like
also
my knee.
shift up and down a little bit. So, decent amount of posability. Waist can go forward and back. A little bit side to side. Legs go maybe outwards. This leg's a little stiff. Alright, not too much outwards. A little bit inwards. You do get... God, there's like nothing on this side. Like, whenever the mold gets in the way. But you can get a little bit of forward. A little bit back. Again, like I mentioned, we're super gluing the crap out of this when I'm done with it. Forward and back. Side to side. Tails on ball joints. So you get a lot of play there. And also can shift a little bit up and down at his booty. So articulation, pretty much came in most everything you have. But these are a little terrifying. Also, you gotta make sure when these fall off that these don't snap off. But outside of that, pretty sweet still. And for quick comparisons, here we have the third-party Showa SH MonsterArts Ghidorah compared next to some other, well, Revoltex. MonsterArts are next. But here we have him with Gigan and Anguirus. Also, you know who you are. Why would you ever sell this cute little adorable figure? And here he is with some MonsterArts figures with the 2019 Godzilla and the 1964 Godzilla. And here he is next to some NECA figures with the 1950, I'm going to call it 56 poster Godzilla because it's the American version anyways. And the 2019 Godzilla, which I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of think the NECA scale a little better. Let me know in the comment section below. And here he is next to some random figures that we use for photos for, well, you'll see him soon. But here is the Revoltech Rodan and the random Bandai author. I forget what set you're from. But it's tiny, so it works. And this is about as good as I can get, at least on this table. What's kind of nice, maybe I just actually left this on here because I was doing photos, is it's easier to get Ghidorah to stand on here. But here is the third party next to the SH MonsterArts 2019, which is bigger, of course, but as you can see, like, color scheme wise, they're almost identical, which is kind of scary. But the one thing that kind of illustrates with this is this guy's hugely out of scale of these things, though. But like, Still works though. So overall for the SH MonsterArts third party, bootleg, whatever you want to call it, Showa Ghidorah or 1964 Ghidorah.
A lot of people say it's bootleg.
Yeah, it's like, they consider it a bootleg because everybody references it as a MonsterArts, but again, there's not like a previous version.
Yeah.
So you can't really call it a bootleg.
That is true.
Like I said, I think of it more like a third party transformer. And I think they did a pretty phenomenal job with this. At least until SH MonsterArts posts that they have a Showa Ghidorah and it looks exactly the same, then I'll be like, oh, okay, I kind of wish I would have waited. But
yeah, until we actually find out that this is a bootleg, and when we do, this is probably the best bootleg I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything better that I've bought. Like, the Bandai Memorial 84 was cool, but like this is better, I feel. Like, it's got the detailing, it's got really good articulation. The only thing is it's not metallic gold. That's really it.
Yeah, and a few little hiccups here and there, but overall it's not bad at all.
Yeah, so if you're into the Showa series, if you got like the old Revolt Tech Kaijus, the 64 Godzilla to go along with it, for MonsterArts anyways, like, I feel like this figure's for you. Like, even if you just like the Showa Ghidorah suit, like, this is a really awesome option for it. And again, until the MonsterArts version comes out, I highly recommend this to you guys.
Yeah, for $80 you can't go wrong.
Although, like I said, it would have been nice to maybe have the beams instead of the flight stand.
Yeah.
Like, the flight stand's kind of cool, but
I prefer beams.
beams are beams. What do you guys think? If you guys think this is bootleg, what's your favorite version of Ghidorah? Is Ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon? Just more you think, please let us know in the comments. We also have an Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, and Facebook. If you guys like to keep up to date with the channel and donate, we would greatly appreciate it. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.